Welcome back to The Five. You've probably heard about the NBC documentary about Hillary Clinton that's been criticized all week. Well, a couple of their reporters supposedly don't like the idea either. Chuck Todd and Andrea Mitchell.
Ooh.
This is why this miniseries is a total nightmare for NBC News, because it doesn't, we know there's this giant firewall. We know we have nothing to do with it. We know that we'd love probably to be as critical or whatever it is going to be if it comes out, but there's nothing we can do about it, and we're going to only own the negative.
Here you've got the Republican chairman, I would say understandably miffed about these Hillary Clinton films. A lot of news people would say, including NBC News people, including Chuck Todd and all the rest of us, a really bad idea given the timing.
Oh, boy, if you only knew what was going on. All right, Deuce, let's talk about that. It's Chuck Todd and Andrea Mitchell kind of whiny, aren't they?
Just a little bit. Andrea Mitchell is a walking conflict of interest. When her husband, Alan Greenspan, headed up the economy, NBC still allowed her to report on the economy. So if she's saying that it's bad for NBC that they run that movie, it must be really bad. But I say NBC, CNN, go ahead and run your movies. But then again, I don't think the RNC should do business with them.
What do you think?
That's
RNC?
too bad.
I think, well, so earlier this week when the RNC made this announcement, my initial reaction was, ooh, why? That just elevates Hillary Clinton. Why are you complaining?
Take a stand.
And I was wrong. I have to say that the reaction has been great for Reince Priebus at the RNC. I think that he was right. Look, I think that there were many reasons to decrease the number of debates anyway, and to have maybe said something after last year with CNN and say with NBC and the tie with MSNBC, say, look, we're not going to do as many as we did last year. I think there was reason to do that. Tying it to Hillary Clinton seemed curious to me, but it's a winner for them.
You know what I love? Finally, some transparency. I mean, they're just like, this is who we are, this is who we want, and we really don't care what anybody else thinks about it. This is NBC,
I'm just not sure.
MSNBC. Oh, Alec Baldwin has a new show. This is no great mystery.
Can I
Friday
just point
nights, baby.
This we knew this was coming a while, and Chuck Todd and Andrea Mitchell decide yesterday and today to take a stand saying, oh, we shouldn't be, NBC, the other wing of NBC shouldn't be doing it. They knew it was coming.
And what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's because they're getting a lot of media, a lot of heat.
I mean, so what that the Republicans aren't going to show up their debates? That's no big deal. And I think they're both whiners. Where this guy Todd came from, I don't know. It's all of a sudden gotten to be a hot product in the last 24 months or something. The guy's a doofus.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to other ideas or other thoughts about media bias. Take a listen to Geraldo. I think it was on Doocy show this morning.
Doocy's ever.
To picture those 15-year-old thugs as white boys, as white 15-year-olds pounding a 13-year-old black child. Is there any doubt but that would have been the seminal moment in terms of news gathering in our nation this year? Coverage of this particular incident was clearly, substandard, inefficient, politically correct, and in many, many ways as repulsive as, people who make of race too much.
Where's the media on this?
I'm totally with Geraldo on this. My Puerto Rican brother from another mother. I think he's on the money on it. No, no. Yeah, I'm positive. I'm Puerto Rican Irish. He's not. Anyway, the point is he's hitting the nail on the head. He's not afraid to tell the truth. The double standard. If this had been a reverse race situation, forget about it. Been all over the place. So my point is, treat news stories like this equally. Where there's been a deafening silence on behalf of the media.
What's amazing to me, maybe Dana can explain this to me. Why is it that Al Sharpton, he clearly should have said something about this. People have been saying it over and over again. And why doesn't the press ask him?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I called Al Sharpton's office yesterday.
Why would he call you back?
We called it at 12:30 yesterday.
Oh,
we gave him an opportunity. We emailed him as well, followed up with an email, waited all day for crickets.
Mm-hmm. He has an amazing ability
He's just not that into
inject himself.
I'm listening to what Dana said.
I think he has an amazing ability to not be provoked into something that is not in his self-interest. And he won't do it. It's actually kind of impressive.
One of the other things that Geraldo shared with us was that he was on the radio doing his radio show when the story had broken, and he read some of the news accounts, and none of the news accounts, I think he said CNN.com and something else, didn't mention the fact that it was 3 young African-American men who beat up the one white kid. and it was apparently because the white kid had told the school that they tried to sell him drugs. It wasn't until I think he said he went to FoxNews.com and saw the story where race did suddenly come to the forefront.
You know what?
And so what that brings up the point is who at these news outfits decides to filter? You know, why not just put all the facts out there?
I'm going to say I'm guilty because I did this. This was my block. The first day that we covered this story on the 5, it was my block. So I prepared all day. It never occurred to me to ask or to look into
Dana, it wasn't
the color of the victim. I just was horrified that it happened to a 13-year-old boy. So I filtered it from the other way.
But because you were reading articles that didn't mention
somebody, right? But it didn't occur to me to ask.
But nevertheless, it wasn't. It was conspicuously absent, and that's the point. It shouldn't have been. And it's not to try and color the situation, but just report the facts. What like you would in any other situation.
Sure.
Well, that's exactly right. They should have done that. And the other thing is that the bus driver, we've said this over and over, he took a bad rap. For 64 years old, he didn't break it up, but they do have hatchets. Every one of those. I've checked this out.
What are you talking about? Chopping people up now?
You don't want me to say that I would take the hatchet on the kids? Okay, I won't.
They have fire extinguishers, too.
And use those, too. That'd blind them.
Well, at least but the guy would have gotten fired.
Bolling.
So what?
No,
we go?
We should move on. Yeah.
We better move on.